my gosh, can you relate to this meme? And this is why we came up with these series for yummy weekly meals. Hopefully this would sparkle some ideas for your next meal. Hello. My name is Jessie and welcome to the second series of our yummy weekly meals. And the first dish would be grilled chicken and veggies in a honey lemon marinade. So good. Boneless chicken thighs, salt, pepper, garlic seasoning, chicken marinade, and some agave. Salt, pepper, garlic seasoning, agave, lemon. By the way guys, all of these ingredients are listed in the description box below as well. Pepper flakes. These chicken could be cooked in the oven at 375 for about 10 to 15 minutes, but wow, the weather was so nice today, so we decided to fire up the grill and grill some chicken. For these vegetables, I just cut up what we had in the fridge, which is half an onion, some baby oyster mushrooms, and a green bell pepper. I seasoned them with salt, pepper, and garlic seasoning, some olive oil, and a few slices of lemon. Wow, look at these. Grill mark is so yummy. I'm also brushing some of the marinade liquid onto the chicken and the vegetables to prevent them from drying out and also add some more flavor into them. Here I am just checking to make sure the internal temperature is at least 165 since these are chicken thighs. Oh my goodness, do you see the sunshine? It's so nice outside and I finally got some grill time. And here I'm just serving with some potato salad in the fridge and dinner is ready. Next up is my favorite mashed cucumber salad as a side dish, but oh my goodness, it's so good. 2 English cucumbers. Cut these into about a few inches long logs. And then I'm using the mortar from my mortar pestle to mash it. You can use a rolling pin or bottles. The whole point of this mashing method, instead of cutting the cucumbers, is so that we can create all these uneven surfaces so it can catch all the yummy dressing that we're about to make. Sprinkle about 1 teaspoon of salt on the cucumbers, mixing it together, and put it in a strainer and set it aside so the liquid can drain out while we're making the dressing. 1 finely chopped shallot, 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of everything bagel seasoning, 1 teaspoon of rice seasoning, 1 teaspoon of toasted sesame oil, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1/4 cup of ponzu sauce. Let's mix them all together and give it a taste. Yummy. Now I'm gonna add the cucumbers in. These cucumber has been rinsed with cold water so it can wash away all the salt. Now we're gonna mix it all together and wow, look at this refreshing piece of cucumber. It went perfectly with our family dinner that we had with sushi and sashimi. Remember the sushi dinner that we just had? Our dad sent us home with this beautiful freshly caught trout. So we are making steamed soy sauce trout with vegetables and glass noodle. This dish is so easy to make. You don't even need a steamer. I'm gonna show you how to do all this with the side dish and the fish in one pan. 6 ounces of chopped Napa cabbage, 4 ounces of shredded carrot, about 4 ounces of shiitake mushrooms, and half a green bell pepper, 2 bundles of glass noodles that we soaked, and 2 beautiful trout fillets. If you don't have trout, you could use salmon. Let's start making the sauce. We're gonna start with 1 chili. This is completely optional. Half a teaspoon of grated ginger. If you don't want to use the chili earlier, just double the amount of ginger. This would help getting rid of the fishy smell. 1 tablespoon of sugar. 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce. 1 teaspoon of toasted sesame oil. All of these ingredients are listed in the description box below as well. In a deep skillet, you're gonna put 1 layer of half the Napa cabbage, half of the glass noodles, half of the carrot, half of the green bell pepper, half of the mushrooms, and then the other half of the glass noodle. We're doing it like lasagna. Then the other half of the Napa cabbage. Now the 2 beautiful fillets, and don't worry guys, these gonna shrink down in no time once the heat is on. We're gonna add the sauce that we just made all over on top of the fish. Now the remaining of the vegetables, I do them in layers like this so when we eat it, we have a little bit of everything. Then I save the colorful ones on top. You know why? To jazz it up. Now that we have everything layered up, we're gonna put a lid over and bring it over to the stove. I'm gonna put it on a medium heat and let it slowly steam. These vegetables has a lot of water in it. That's why I'm counting on them to create the steam in the pan, but keep an eye out on it because sometimes it will be too dry. That's why you see me kind of tilt it here and there to see if water is needed, and sure enough I need a little bit of water, so I add about a 1/4 cup of water here and then cover it again for it to steam. And it really depends on the size of your fish. I steamed mine for about 10 to 12 minutes. You just pick the temperature. We like our fish a little bit pink inside, so I had it to 135 internal temperature. But if you want it a little bit more cooked, just cook it a little bit longer. And just like that, it is done. I'm just using a pair of kitchen shears to down the middle, making sure I'm not touching and scratching my non-stick. But I wanted to cut through the noodles so it's easier to bring out on a plate. And I had these beautiful microgreens in the fridge, so I'm gonna jazz it up. Oh wow, look at this. Under 20 minutes and dinner is ready. Our next dinner is beef broccoli robe with mushrooms. So we have 1 pound of sliced beef, half an onion that's sliced, some baby oyster mushrooms, and some broccoli robe that we got from our CSN. It's my first time cooking with it. Okay, let's marinate the beef. I have the confit garlic from grocery haul. I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of garlic confit with the oil, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, and half a teaspoon of sugar. Just gonna mix it together, and that's our marinade. And when you mix this up, just make sure you mash the garlic in here too. It's so much flavor, this confit garlic. In the hot water, I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of the garlic confit with the oil. And we're gonna use this to stir fry our stir fry. Remember to use a clean spoon every time you take the garlic out. Right now that the oil is hot, I'm gonna add in our beef. Spread it out to let it contact the wall right away. After about 30 seconds, I'm gonna flip it, mix it around. Now for broccoli. They're not really broccoli, I just call them broccoli. Fry it a little bit. Now the mushrooms. After the vegetable is charring a little bit, I'm going to add in a 1/4 cup of chicken broth. Give it a taste. Oh, this is so good. Lastly, the red onion. On a bed of rice, we're gonna just put the stir fry we just made on. I made my rice with chicken broth and turmeric. That's why it has a hint of yellow and it adds such a good flavor. And it's good for you. Alright. Yummy. Don't forget the sauce. And a little bit of sesame seed. Wow, look at that. Lastly, we're gonna have a leftover makeover and make this braised pork belly noodle soup from the dish that I made for dinner the other night. Sorry, I didn't record it, but it's our tikka. It's a caramelized braised pork belly. Oh, it was so good. First, let's go to our garden and get some garlic chives and green onions for toppings. So I'm gonna make lunch out of leftovers and some of the produce or vegetable that we have in the fridge. Some bok choys, homemade chicken broth. I just made this batch. I haven't even frozen it. This is some leftover ground pork I saved just a tiny bit to make some small dish, and I never did, so we gotta cook this. And the main ingredient is the leftover braised pork belly that I made for dinner the other day. So we're gonna turn this into a soup. And I just went out to our pantry and get some green onion and garlic chives. So for my pork belly braised, I have these fat or flavor on top. I'm just gonna take it out. Instead of using oil, I'm just gonna use this to stir fry my ground pork. You don't need a lot because we're gonna dump this whole thing in later on. I'm just gonna start with that. Now in go my tiny little bit of ground pork. I just wanted to use it up and break it apart. In goes the braised pork belly, the whole thing, fat and all. This is flavor right here because I put sauce in the braised liquid. I'm just gonna let the ground pork mingle with that sauce so it gets some flavor in. Oh, it's looking good already. Now, the homemade chicken broth. I'm going to add about a quart. Okay, and now we're just going to bring it up to a boil. Check the seasoning, and our broth for the noodle is done. And I'm just going to chop my topping. So for the green onion, and to make sure my onion would last longer in the fridge, I just line my container with a piece of paper towel. Half of the piece. This is a very small container. Alright, next is the garlic chives. Same thing, the other half of the piece of paper towel. I'll just put it down here. And our toppings are done. Perfect. Now I'm gonna put the bowl together. And after a minute in the microwave, the noodle is ready and the bok choy is also ready. And I'm just gonna put some pork belly, ground pork, and just a lot of soup. Okay. Now some green onion, some garlic chives. Wow, look at this. Can you believe it was from a leftover? This is what I called a leftover makeover. Wow, look at these. Aren't they gorgeous? Now it's your turn to make them at home this week. And don't forget to come back for more of these series.